From sweeping deserts to tense standoffs, from legendary outlaws to lone gunslingers seeking justice, Westerns have captured the imagination of audiences for generations. Today, we're counting down the 10 best Western movies you absolutely need to watch. Films that defined a genre, inspired countless directors, and brought the wild frontier to life in unforgettable ways. Saddle up, because this is going to be one epic ride. Number 1, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, 1966. Considered the pinnacle of Sergio Leone's Dollars trilogy, this Western isn't just about cowboys and shootouts. It's a gritty masterpiece about greed, survival, and betrayal. Set during the Civil War, 3 very different men are after a buried fortune in Confederate gold. Blondie the Good, Clint Eastwood's calm, sharp bounty hunter. Angel Eyes the Bad, Lee Van Cleef's ruthless, cold-blooded killer. Tuco the Ugly, Eli Wallach's greedy but oddly endearing outlaw. Alliances shift constantly as each man schemes to outsmart the others, leading to betrayals, uneasy partnerships, and violent encounters. The movie builds to one of the greatest finales in cinema history, the legendary 3-way standoff in a sunlit graveyard, set to Ennio Morricone's unforgettable score. With its sweeping landscapes, tense close-ups, and raw storytelling, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly redefine the Western and remains one of the most influential films ever made. Number 2, Unforgiven, 1992. Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven is a dark, powerful Western that strips away the myths of the Old West and shows what violence really costs. Eastwood stars as William Money, a retired gunslinger and widowed father struggling to leave his bloody past behind. When a group of cowboys brutally attacks a woman in a small town, Money is drawn back into the life he swore off, teaming up with his old partner Ned, Morgan Freeman, and a young bounty hunter to claim the reward. But as they hunt their targets, the line between justice and revenge blurs. Money's return to violence forces him and the audience to confront the true weight of killing and the ghosts it leaves behind. Gene Hackman's chilling performance as the cruel sheriff, Little Bill Daggett, adds another layer to this moral showdown. Unforgiven isn't your typical Western. It's a haunting reflection on aging, redemption, and the price of violence. It won 4 Oscars, including Best Picture and Best Director, and cemented Eastwood's legacy as both actor and filmmaker. Number 3, Once Upon a Time in the West, 1968. Directed by Sergio Leone, Once Upon a Time in the West is an epic Western that blends revenge, greed, and fate into one unforgettable story. It opens with one of the most iconic sequences in film history, a silent, tension-filled standoff at a lonely train station. From there, the story unfolds around Jill McBain, Claudia Cardinale, a widowed woman fighting to protect her late husband's land from ruthless forces who want it for the railroad expansion. Standing in her way is Frank, Henry Fonda, a cold-blooded killer unlike any role Fonda had ever played, and Harmonica, Charles Bronson, a mysterious drifter with a haunting past and a score to settle. As the railroad pushes westward, these characters collide in a sweeping tale of revenge and survival, all set to Ennio Morricone's breathtaking score. Leone turns the Western into pure cinema. Every glance, every note, every gunshot carries meaning. Once Upon a Time in the West isn't just a Western, it's a grand, poetic elegy for the dying frontier. Number 4. High Noon, 1952. A timeless classic of courage and conscience, High Noon follows Marshal Will Kane, Gary Cooper, on the most harrowing day of his life. Just as he's about to retire and leave town with his new bride, Grace Kelly, Kane learns that a ruthless outlaw he once sent to prison is returning on the noon train, seeking revenge. With only a few hours to prepare, Kane desperately tries to gather a posse to stand with him. But one by one, the townspeople turn their backs, leaving him to face the killers alone. The film unfolds in real time, building unbearable tension as the clock ticks closer to noon. It's not just a Western, it's a moral drama about duty, integrity, and standing up for what's right, even when no one else will. Gary Cooper's performance earned him an Oscar, and High Noon remains one of the most gripping, thought-provoking Westerns ever made. Number 5. The Searchers, 1956. Directed by John Ford and starring John Wayne in one of his most complex roles, The Searchers is a sweeping Western about obsession, family, and the darkness of revenge. Wayne plays Ethan Edwards, a hardened Civil War veteran who returns home to Texas, only to have his brother's family brutally attacked by Comanche raiders. When his young niece Debbie, Natalie Wood, is kidnapped, Ethan sets out on a years-long quest to find her, but his relentless pursuit slowly reveals a man consumed by hatred and prejudice. Accompanied by his adopted nephew Martin, Ethan's journey spans harsh deserts and endless seasons, blurring the line between heroism and vengeance. With stunning Monument Valley landscapes and emotional depth far ahead of its time, The Searchers explores how far a man will go in the name of love and how easily that love can turn into obsession. It's widely considered one of the most influential films ever made, inspiring generations of directors from Spielberg to Scorsese. Number 6. Shane, 1953. Shane is the quintessential Western, blending action, emotion, and the myth of the lone gunslinger into a timeless story. The film follows Shane, Alan Ladd, a mysterious drifter and former gunfighter who rides into a small frontier town. He quickly becomes involved with the Starrett family, homesteaders struggling against a ruthless cattle baron determined to drive them off their land. As tensions escalate, Shane must confront his violent past while protecting the family and the town he's grown to care about. His presence inspires hope, but also sets the stage for a dramatic showdown that tests courage, loyalty, and morality. With sweeping landscapes, heartfelt performances, and a story of redemption and heroism, Shane captures the spirit of the Old West, showing both its beauty and its harsh realities. Number 7. Tombstone, 1993. Tombstone is a gripping, action-packed Western that brings one of the most legendary lawmen of the Old West to life. The film follows Wyatt Earp Kurt Russell, a retired lawman seeking a peaceful life in the frontier town of Tombstone, Arizona, alongside his brothers and his new wife, Josie Dana Delaney. But peace is fleeting. The town is under the control of the ruthless outlaw gang, the Cowboys, led by the cold-blooded Curly Bill, Powers Booth, and the unpredictable Johnny Ringo, Michael Biehn. When the Cowboys commit a series of violent crimes, Earp is pulled back into his former life, forming an uneasy alliance with the charming, sharp-tongued gunslinger Doc Holliday, Val Kilmer. Kilmer's portrayal of Holliday, charismatic, witty, and deadly, is unforgettable, providing the film with both tension and dark humor. As tempers flare and blood is shed, Tombstone builds toward its explosive confrontations, showing the high stakes, loyalty, and moral choices that define the West. With memorable dialogue, intense shootouts, and larger-than-life characters, the film has become a modern Western classic, celebrated for its style, storytelling, and sheer entertainment. Number 8. True Grit, 2010. The Coen brothers' True Grit is a modern take on the classic Western, full of grit, determination, and unforgettable characters. The story follows Maddie Ross, Haley Steinfeld, a tough, determined 14-year-old who refuses to let her father's murderer go unpunished. To track him down, she hires Rooster Cogburn, Jeff Bridges, a grizzled, one-eyed United States Marshal with a reputation for getting the job done, no matter the cost. Along the way, they are joined by law buff Matt Damon, a Texas Ranger chasing the same outlaw, creating an uneasy trio bound by justice, greed, and survival. As they journey through unforgiving landscapes, Maddie's courage and resolve are tested against the dangers of the frontier. Bridges' portrayal of Rooster is equal parts rough and endearing, bringing humor, heart, and moral complexity to a character who could have been a one-dimensional antihero. With stunning cinematography, sharp dialogue, and tense action sequences, True Grit is more than a revenge tale. It's a story about perseverance, morality, and the harsh realities of justice in the Old West. Number 9. The Magnificent Seven, 1960. Inspired by Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai, The Magnificent Seven is a classic Western about heroism, teamwork, and standing up for what's right. The film follows a small Mexican village terrorized by a ruthless bandit, Calvera, who repeatedly raids their town and steals their crops. Desperate for protection, the villagers hire 7 American gunmen, each with their own skills, flaws, and motivations, to defend them. Led by Chris Adams, Yul Brynner, and including memorable characters like the hot-headed Vin, Steve McQueen, the group must navigate dangerous terrain, personal rivalries, and overwhelming odds to prepare the town for a final showdown. With breathtaking action sequences, a memorable score by Elmer Bernstein, and themes of honor, sacrifice, and courage, The Magnificent Seven turns the traditional Western into a story about collective heroism, proving that even ordinary people, with the help of unlikely heroes, can stand against injustice. Number 10. The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford, 2007. This haunting, poetic Western tells the story of the legendary outlaw Jesse James, Brad Pitt, and the man who ultimately betrayed him, Robert Ford, Casey Affleck. The film explores the complex relationship between the charismatic, unpredictable Jesse and the young, idolizing Robert, who is torn between admiration, envy, and a desire for fame. As Robert becomes entangled in Jesse's world of crime and legend, the lines between hero and villain blur, revealing the personal cost of obsession and betrayal. Set against the sweeping landscapes of the American frontier, the film unfolds slowly and deliberately, emphasizing character over action. Pitt's portrayal of Jesse is mesmerizing, capturing both his charm and his dangerous volatility, while Affleck's Robert evokes sympathy, insecurity, and moral ambiguity. With stunning cinematography, a haunting score by Nick Cave and Warren Ellis, and a meditation on legend, fame, and mortality, The Assassination of Jesse James is less about gunfights and more about the psychological weight of living in the shadow of greatness, making it one of the most emotionally resonant westerns of the 21st century. Here's a bonus for you: number 11, No Country for Old Men, 2007. The Coen brothers' No Country for Old Men is a tense, modern western that blends crime, morality, and the relentless passage of time. The story begins when Llewellyn Moss, Josh Brolin, discovers a briefcase full of cash left at a drug deal gone wrong. His decision to take the money sets off a violent chain reaction, putting him in the crosshairs of Anton Chigurh, Javier Bardem, a cold-blooded, philosophical killer who tracks his victims with terrifying precision. Sheriff Ed Tom Bell, Tommy Lee Jones, represents the old moral order, struggling to comprehend the unstoppable violence and changing world around him. The film is a meditation on fate, justice, and the consequences of choices in a brutal, unforgiving landscape. With Academy Award-winning performances, a gripping score, and the Coen's signature tension-filled storytelling, No Country for Old Men is a chilling, unforgettable modern western that proves the genre still has room to evolve. There you have it, the 11 best westerns. From epic showdowns to quiet moral dilemmas, these 11 westerns showcase the power, beauty, and complexity of the genre. Whether it's the dusty deserts of the Civil War, a lone gunslinger seeking redemption, or an outlaw haunted by his own legend, these films capture the spirit of the frontier like no others. So grab your popcorn, saddle up, and dive into the wild, thrilling world of Western cinema. You won't be disappointed.